Well, good morning, and since it is the month of
Recording in progress.
okay,
Go ahead. You're good.
Go.
can we go?
Yeah.
All right, February, Valentine's month, the month of love. Every month ought to be the month of love, but anyway, I thought I'd talk about love today. The love of God, love of ourselves, and love of others. And when I was about 10 years old, and I've told y'all this before, but anyway, I had driven my mother to the doctor. She couldn't drive, and while she was in seeing the doctor, I was thumbing through these magazines, and I found a quote in one of the magazines, and it said, the secret to happiness is someone to love you, and something to look forward to. Well, I tore that out of the magazine. I'm sorry, I did. I tore it out. And I took it home, and that really became a 10-year-old little girl's motto for living. And I pretty much have used that my entire life. And I knew I loved my mother dearly. She was like my child. I took care of her. So I loved her. She loved me. And so as a kid, I started doing little things to give myself something to look forward to. Bless my heart. Kids can be have a lot of ingenuity. I was very precocious, and I had to have some ingenuity. My mom was a prescription drug addict and alcoholic, and laid on the couch and wore out couches. But anyway, I do little things like I would promise myself after I got the dishes done, that I could go ride my horse, or that I could read 2 chapters in a book I've read all the time. And so I would have little things to look forward to. I remember one year I planted a garden, and then every year after that I planted me a little garden. And so that kind of created in my mind a mindset of, the key to happiness is someone to love us, and something to look forward to. And at about age 8, this was at 10 when I found that motto, but at age 8, I took myself to a little Southern Baptist church, little bitty church, 1 block off. It was on East 9th, and we lived on East 10th. And what I found in that church, that little church, and it was small, but what I found was unconditional love. Those little people just loved me, and I went every Sunday night, and won the Bible for perfect attendance that first year. And what I found there was the love of God. And how I found the love of God was God's people loving me. It started with them just loving and accepting me. And that's when I did find God. And in the Christian world, what love is in the Christian world is that God gave us an ultimate gift. I have 4 children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and I wouldn't do this for anyone, but God loved us so much. He gave us his precious son to come to the earth, and I'm not preaching this morning, I'm sharing, but he sent Jesus here on the face of the earth to teach us how to live. He knew that he was creating people that didn't know how to live, and so he had to give us a frame of reference. And if you want to know how to live, just read the book of James and Ephesians in the Bible. And really Bill W. used a lot of that information in writing the 12 steps. So that's the love of God. And he loves us. Our job is to love and accept him. And so, love really is, and this is tricky, because we do teach about love and sex addiction and love addiction. is very real, and it is going way off of the, way over there. And trying to seek love is really what love addiction is trying to get love in all the wrong places or from all the wrong people. So real healthy love is really about, when you love someone, it's about self-sacrificing. It's about being generous. It's about, it's not a temporary feeling. It is, it just is. And agape love is unconditional, divine, selfless. So that's sort of the benchmark that we strive for. And, we don't do this perfect. We are perfectly imperfect human beings. And love is and always will be a complete concept. It is an emotion, a state of being, and this is out of the dictionary. It's a choice, an ability, a gift, it's a force. And so that's a little bit about love, or a whole lot about love. And then, so first it's about loving God, and a lot of times we don't. People who come to 12-step programs a lot of times are so mad at God, they don't want anything to do with Him. But after they hang around for a while, that changes. I've never seen it not change when people really, really get into the program. And that's why Bill W. chose to end with Dr. Silkworth, his guide, encouraged him to drop the word God and put in higher power, where people could have a choice. Because, by the time people get into a 12-step program, a lot of times they're so mad at God, that's the last thing they want to listen to is God. So that's why Bill, you chose the word higher power. But anyway, so we don't usually love God first, but we must learn to love God, I believe, in order to learn to love ourselves. So I'm going to just give you some ideas of ways you can learn to love yourself. Now I've got to put these little cheaters on so I can see my list. One thing, take time every morning to invite God into your day. It's a time to calm your mind, to breathe, to just, be grateful and thankful for another day. My very first sponsor told me to make conscious contact with God of a morning before I make conscious contact with people, which she met my husband who was sleeping next to me. And then I would be less likely to mess up the day, to make conscious contact with God when my feet hit the floor, or my knees hit the floor, she'd tell me. Okay, and the next thing is to start each morning by telling yourself something that you really like about yourself, something positive. We're big believers in doing affirmations, and affirmations have been proven over and over. It's a scientific, there's been lots of research done, and Louise Hayes has taught us a lot about affirmations, and so doing affirmations, and you can do them of a morning looking in the mirror in the dark part of your eye, and we recommend to the clients to do 50 very short affirmations. Do that for 2 weeks every morning, and by the end of that 2 weeks, it will be imprinted pretty much on your brain. So affirmations, tell yourself something that you like about yourself, something positive. And then number 3 is, our bodies are our vessels. That's what God gave us. It's like a Land Rover to get around the face of the earth. And so number 3, love yourself enough to put good food and drink in your body that will nourish it and make it thrive. I mean, that is so simple. I have a nice little car, but a friend of mine was putting gas in it yesterday, and he started to put regular, and I said, oh no, she will not run on regular. She loves herself so much, she wants that prime ethyl. So anyway, And that's how our bodies need to be. Put the good stuff in our bodies. And then number 4 is move that gorgeous body every day. Move your body every day. Some kind of simple exercise. You can't hate yourself into loving yourself. You know, when I was overweight all my life, but when I was at my largest, 270, 280, 287, I hated myself. I hated everything about myself. I could hardly comb my hair of a morning because I had to look at myself in the mirror. And I did not ever tell myself, anything good about myself. You're weak-willed, now, God blessed me with lots and lots of energy, and I was never one of the overweight people who laid around and watched bad daytime TV. I mean, I didn't. I was active all the time. Had I not been, I'd probably weighed 400 pounds. And so I've always been grateful for that energy that I had and that good work ethic. But, I've learned that I couldn't hate myself into loving myself. You have to start loving yourself where you are. You can't wait till you're a certain number on the scale or, got that job that you, want. It starts in the now. That first sponsor, she taught me a lot, and it was in Al-Anon. It wasn't in OA, it was in Al-Anon. But what she taught me, one of the things was, because I just hated my skin, I hated everything about me. And she said to get a bottle of lotion, and she said, get good lotion. And she said, every morning and every evening, rub lotion on your body. Well, that was hard for me to do because I had to touch myself that I didn't like. And but I so wanted to get well, I would have done anything she told me to. Anything, I don't care what. And, that's a gift, by the way. And if you don't have it, that may be something that you want to pray for, is the gift of willingness to follow direction, someone's direction that has what you want. And I had that, and that was not my doing. God implanted that in my brain, I believe. So I would have done anything a sponsor told me to do. And that started helping, where I could touch myself in a healthy way and put lotion on myself. Because I would do that for my mother every time I'd go to see her. I would lotion her old hands and arms. So I knew how to do that. I knew how to give love to others, but I didn't know how to give it to myself. And so number 5 is don't believe everything you think. Get out of your own head and out of that inner critic. If we treated, I used to say this, if I treated a rank stranger, maybe a salesman that came to my front door, if I treated those, people I didn't even know, as bad as what I thought about myself, I would be arrested for murder, because I hated myself. I hated my looks. I hated my behavior. I hated my rage. I hated, anyway. So you can't hate yourself into loving yourself. And so another thing, I think I've done that, is that inner critic. Quit listening to that inner critic, that criticizer, and that has got to change. And those affirmations will help change that inner critic. I promise you it will. And then, this is so simple, folks. Number 6 is surround yourself with people who love you and encourage you. And that's those of us that are in 12-step programs. We are so fortunate because we are surrounded by people who, give love and love us, and we love them back. And so love yourself and surround yourself with people. And, you don't have to have a lot of people. We call it a safety net. We need a safety net of people who love and care about us regardless of or no matter what. About 3 to 5 people, any more that just gets real crowded. So about 3 people to 5 who know everything about you and who love you anyway. That's what unconditional love is just love you Anyway, we throw that word love around a lot, or I do, maybe y'all don't. I love that I get fed healthy food that I don't have to fix twice a day, lunch and dinner. I love the food that is prepared for me, and the sweet people, my friend, my Misty girl, she is the director of food service, and so she cooks about 3 days a week, and then she has some great guys who cook, and they cook a lot of love into that food. And so I love the lettuce wraps, and I love their tacos, and, because everything that they prepare is good for my body. But I do throw that word love around, and maybe all of us do. That's where it's not really, it's kind of watered down. I mean, I love the Cowboys, and I love them unconditionally. You have to in order to stand them, but I love that football team, and I'll keep loving them, and so anyway. So it's important to surround yourself by people who love and adore you and who encourage you. If you're around people who put you down or whatever, get away from them. Get away from them. And then number 7 is quit comparing yourself to others. Well, I should be doing this. Well, I shouldn't have done that. Well, if I'd have done so and so, I would be farther along this. Stop that. That is that. Enter that comparison. Well, look at the people that are more successful. I mean, look at the people that are retired. All of that. And all it is reinforcing your bad feelings about yourself when you compare yourself to others. And I will tell you, eating disorder people are the worst, are the very worst at it. Comparing, our bodies to someone else's body, or, wishing we were more like them, or blah, 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 So number 8 is, and all toxic relationships. Toxic relationships. Toxic means poison. And so if you're around someone, if you're in a so-called love relationship with someone that is toxic and is sick, you're going to get sick along with them. And so make sure that you're around people who don't want to bring you down to their level. So number 9 is step outside your comfort zone and try something new. I'm going to call Bonnie out. Bonnie is always doing something new. I mean, she climbs mountains. She does, and I love watching what she does, watching her Facebook page. She steps out of her comfort zone. And she's encouraging and is encouraging me to think about stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm not quite there yet, Well, I did. I went and walked in the Milford track in New Zealand. That was hard work. But anyway, so my hat's off to you, Bonnie, for setting a good example for the rest of us. But try something new, something you haven't done before, and get excited about it. And if that doesn't work, go to something else new. Find something. And I'm not talking about work here. I'm talking about something enjoyable that you would like to do. And then number 10 is follow your passion. Do something that excites you and at the same time scares you. When I put in shades, people in Abilene thought I had lost my ever-loving mind. In the Serenity House where I work, said, well, you'll be back in 3 months, begging for your job back. I didn't have many people in my corner. My youngest daughter and Christy, who has been and still is my business partner, and then my husband, her dad. Christy's the last one at home, and Ariel and I had done a lot of work. Anyway, they were my supporters. I only had 2. And it was scary to step out and do something like put in a business when you didn't know what you were doing. But nevertheless, follow your passion. If you have a passion for something, anything that is, healthy, follow that passion. And I don't care what age you are. If you're still breathing in and out and you're on that screen, find something that you're passionate about and do something. Do something that scares you. If it doesn't scare you, if it's just too easy for you, find something else. Find a challenge. Number 11 is be patient but persistent. Patient but persistent. Self-love is evolving. I mean, you're not going to just hate yourself one day and love yourself the next. I started this journey, joined my first 12-step program in 1968, and I'm 79 years old. And so my recovery, the self-love and all has evolved over years. This is no quick fix, folks. But what you do is you be kind to yourself every day. Do something, some sort of kindness every day for yourself. 12, treat others with the same love, dignity, and respect, whether it's returned or not. Even the Bible tells us it's very easy to love the lovable. The ones that are cute, precious, and darling, and we just love them, love them, love them. What's hard is to love the unlovable. I was thinking about yesterday, Misty and I go out on Tuesdays and have our day, and we wind up, we kind of run errands. We always wind up at Walmart, but anyway, we were stopped at we were at a parking lot. And Misty was turned toward me, and we were doing some things, making a reservation for a hotel or something. Anyway, so there was this street person that, I guess he was a street person, came up to her window, and he looked awful. He looked awful. She couldn't see him, but I looked up and saw him, and I was scared. It was scary, but before she saw him, he had already wandered off. I got to thinking about this morning. That is somebody's son. That is somebody's, child. That somebody's, could be husband. I don't know. But anyway, we need to treat other people with the same love, dignity, and respect, regardless of their station in life. Whether street people on the street. And I want to call out my friend Ann Worth. I have watched Ann work with many people, but particularly refugees coming over from Africa, and how she's worked with them and nurtured them, and in every way possible to learn to live in our country. That's what love in action looks like. Doing for others, doing something for someone else. If you want to, feel good about yourself, do something for someone else and expecting nothing in return. If you're expecting something in return, don't do it. Just going down the road. All right, 13, write down, and y'all know all of this, but I couldn't keep from putting it in. Write down 5 things, at least 5, that you're grateful for every day. Don't ever quit writing those gratitude lists. Boy, that can turn an attitude around in a split second. You're in pretty bad shape if you can't come up with 5 gratitudes every morning, every day. And then 14, reach out to family, friends, healers, people, counselors, therapists that have helped you when you get in a tough place. Surround yourself with people who love and care about you. Now, this family business is tricky, particularly when there's been a lot of dysfunction. But I will tell you, it only takes one person to turn around a dysfunctional family. And how you do that, you love the person, place, or thing that makes you angry. If you want to help change your family, you just love them. You just love them and You know, you don't have to agree with everything and accept everything about them. You just love them and go on down the road and take care of yourself, but keep in contact with them. And the main thing is, you know, for adult children, young adult children, you know, they grow up many times so mad at their parents and all. You know, if we can get young people in their, and I'm talking about in their 20s, to drop the, you know, anger that they have about their parents, and, you know, some of it's very justified and it needs to be worked through. But at some point, go back at some point and thank your parents and give them some unconditional love and positive regard, because it, you know, and it may not change them, but it's for you. It's so you can feel good about yourself. I don't believe any of us feel good about ourselves when we are mad at someone else and telling them off and all that. So anyway, reach out to family, friends, other people who, and surround yourself with people who love you and really who have your best interests at heart. Number 15 is learn to say no, 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 no. No is a complete sentence. When you're around healthy people, about 50% of the time, you're going to hear no. When you ask them to do something, if they're real healthy and can set boundaries, they'll say something like, well, no, I can't do it today, but, you know, maybe 2 weeks or whatever, or they may just say a no. You know, but when you hear no from a healthy person, 50% of the time, at least you're hearing yes. So, yourselves, learn to say no. If you can't do something, say no. 16, so, you know, this is a biggie. Forgive yourself and let go of all of the guilt. Guilt is a killer. Guilt, and the gift of guilt is to make amends. And how you make amends, you amend your behavior. I love to hear my daughter Kim talk about her making amends, and she made living amends to all of us, still does every day. And so forgive yourself and let go of the guilt. 17, this is so hard. Give up needing approval from everybody. My husband, bless his heart, he did not know how to treat a woman. He did not know how to give compliments. I had to teach him, you know, the words to say. But I so wanted his approval, and I had his approval, but I wanted him to say it out loud. So I would give him certain phrases. But anyway, give up needing approval of others and approve of yourself. So 18 is let go of the past trauma. Let go of the past trauma and wounds of the past. If you don't do that, if you don't do your past trauma work, it will cloud and come into every area of your life. And that's why we do the type of work that we do here, and that's why we do an intensive, 4.5-day intensive, and it is to help people work on that past trauma. And remember, anything less than nurturing to a child can be trauma, can produce that woundedness. So let go, but do your inner work. Do your inner work if you want to learn to love yourself, and and then do your work and let go of the past. 19. What did I put on here? Get in touch with your inner dialogue. Do y'all talk to yourself? Do you ever talk to yourself? And when you're talking to yourself, do you say nice things to yourself, or do you put yourself down? Oh, I don't look good today, or this or that, or I should have got that done, but whatever. You deserve to speak kindly to yourself. So be nice to yourself, like you would a dear friend or a loved one. And then 20, and this is something that's so hard for addicts to do, particularly early in recovery. Number 10 is if you want to really learn to love yourself, get out there and have some fun. Do something fun. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive, just something that you can get excited about and you can enjoy doing. One of the things that my kids got me for Mother's Day is, I hate to admit this, but they got me a tricycle. And a tricycle, do you know how hard it is to ride a tricycle? I mean, because I want to ride it like a bicycle, and it doesn't want to do that. And so I'm going to, this weather is breaking. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to take the shame and embarrassment, and I am going to teach myself how to ride that tricycle. I'm going to have some fun with that tricycle, but I don't want anybody around. I want to do it all on my own so I can get it accomplished. I don't want to be laughed at. I'll just laugh at myself. That's a little bit of, anyway, not wanting to be laughed at. I was laughed at a lot, and bless my heart, I don't want to be laughed at anymore. So I want to have some fun and teach myself how to ride that tricycle. My grandson Spencer tried his best to teach me how to ride it, and he's coming, and I didn't learn, but he'll be home from St. Louis in college in April. That is my goal, is to be able to ride that tricycle and show him that he's learned how to do that. Okay, so I've got a few things about, love isn't everything, but it's really all there is. It is. I mean, love is everything. It's all there is. It is the only thing that can turn an enemy into a friend, is love. So I want to give you a few things about how to love other people. I gave you a lot about how to love yourself. Here's a few things to learn to love other people. It's basically do for others what you'd like for them to do for you. Love is patient, and patience will help you to be more tolerant and be in the present moment. You have patience when you can go and sit in a doctor's office as a patient and you wait an hour. My eye doctor is wonderful, but I hate to go to his office because I know I'm going to be waiting an hour. So you have patience if you can sit in a doctor's office and wait. That's a good test for patience. Always take me a book or someone with me to talk. No, anymore. I always take somebody with me because they drive me. They do not trust my driving. I don't drive. I don't see well enough. I can drive in the daytime, but my kids won't let me have the time. So anyway, and I have to say, my children, I am blessed beyond words. I'm surrounded by children and who love and adore me and who take care of me. Now, sometimes they hover a little bit, but anyway, that's all right. I know a lot of older people that have no one. I'm very, very fortunate. Okay, so love is kindness, and y'all hear this all the time. It is so easy to be kind to someone, much easier than to be mean and hateful. And I love to practice kindness at Walmart because there's people who go in there and they are stressed out. Many of them are overweight, no judgment, but they're just overweight and they're tired, and you can tell they're tired. And we were there yesterday, and bless this woman's heart, she had about 5 or 6 kids. They were climbing up on the meat counter. I mean, they were all over, and I just spoke to every one of the kids, and I spoke to her, and I said, now, honey, my husband and I together raised 7 kids, and if it's any comfort, they will grow up, and she had a little laugh and all. And so just when you see people out, just be kind to them, and it'll come right straight back to you. There's a little woman that works there, and I started out because she wasn't easy to be nice to, but I started out just talking to her. She would check me out, and I just kind of kept forcing myself on her. Well, now she's the greeter, and you'd think she's my new best friend. She greets me at the door, she talks to me, and that was because I could get out of myself for a few minutes and pay attention to someone else. That's hard when you're all wrapped up in yourself. Anyway, kindness, kindness, kindness. And it's, and then love is delights in the success. Love delights in success of yourself or others. Love is humility. Humility. You know what love is? Is about humility. And, getting out of ourselves long enough to love someone else. And love is deep, deep respect for others. And some, I know not everyone deserves respect. I don't know. It's not my place to judge it. But just respect people that you come in contact with. And then love is empathy. Trying to step into the shoes of another person is a powerful, powerful first step to serving them. You may not know, maybe have not walked their journey, but if you can imagine, now I had walked the journey of that young mother with all those kids and trying to buy groceries because I couldn't afford to pay a babysitter to keep the kids, and so I had to take them with me, And so I could empathize with her because I've been there. But, we need to stretch ourselves and step into shoes of others that we can empathize with. And that first step, empathy, having some empathy is the first step to serving others, And I'm sorry there's something about that guy yesterday that felt like there's something I should have said, but he scared me, so that's maybe we put back in my life. I don't know. But it kind of bothered me last night that I didn't get Misty to roll the window down and talk to him. I don't know. Anyway, I'll let that one go. So, love isn't something that happens to you. It is something that you have to cultivate. You have to really cultivate love by practicing these 5 things that I mentioned. Practicing forms of love: patience, kindness, delighting in others, delighting in others, just having a delight I love that word. I love delight. And then having humility, and then empathy. So remember that love is the most powerful force on the face of the earth. It is the only thing that can turn an enemy into a friend. And I thank God every day for the fellowship of Al-Anon, because that's where I learned. I went there with a heart filled with hatred and resentment, and what those addicts had done to me, and what I learned at Al-Anon. If you qualify for Al-Anon, and most people do, you know somebody that drinks, or somebody close to you, or maybe somebody's drinking bothers you. But Al-Anon is really, if you want to learn how to love, go to Al-Anon. Because what Al-Anon taught me, and it's still teaching me, is to love ourselves. And when we can love ourselves, then we can love others. And I remember the first time, and my sponsor had worked with me. I had been so mean to my husband when he'd come in drunk. I didn't know it was a disease. I thought he was drinking at me because I was so overweight and I was a rager and all that. And I just knew his drinking was all about me. I didn't know he had a disease, and I didn't know I had a disease that was, it was killing both of us. But through this, my sponsor's diligence in helping me day in and day out, she encouraged me to go up to him while he was drunk. Anyway, so the first time I did that, when he came in and he had, been gone 2-3 days, and I went up and just put my arms around him, and I told him I loved him. And I said, I know you're sick, and I love you. That was the beginning of and he would tell this in his AA story. That was the beginning of, and I didn't get him sober, don't get that. I'm not taking any credit, because if I take the credit, I have to take the blame. But anyway, in his AA story, which January the 31st, he would have had 40 years in AA. But anyway, part of his story was he remembered, even though he was drunk, he remembered the day that I shifted from beating him up when he'd come in after a drink to going up and putting my arms around him and telling him I loved him and that I knew he was sick. And that, folks, was a huge change. And that was hard for me to do because I was very self-centered and I was so angry at him and what he had done to me. So, I'm not throwing any bouquets at myself, but if I can love the unlovable in the moment, he was very unlovable at the moment. If I could do that, anyone can. So that's what I have about love. And Valentine's has gotten so commercialized, but if you have a chance this month, this week, around Valentine's, tell those folks that you really love. Tell them, let them know that you really love them. And you guys, please, if you've got someone that you love, tell them, and show them. They like to be shown. So, all right, so that's what I have about love. Let me hear from y'all.